Hello Redditors, Steve Marler here. Most land flippers stop at buying low and selling high. But here's the truth. You're leaving $50,000 to $100,000 on the table every time. Today I'm going to show you 10 ways to actually add value to land instead of just passing it through. Flipping land might give you a quick payday, but developers walk away with significantly more money in not a lot more time. So flippers sell land as is for a small fee. Developers add value. They add value to land by reducing risk, adding clarity, and creating opportunity. It's not as hard as you might think, and you don't have to do all the way through. You don't have to build if you don't want. We're going to talk about that in a second. So I'm going to give you 10 ways to do this. Here's the first 3. So entitlement, we're just changing zoning, density, usage, something like that to add more value to land, and then we sell it. We don't have to physically do any work on site. That only takes a few months. Lot severance, we're going to split the lot into 2 or more smaller chunks. Paper lot, that's where we're actually getting the blueprints done. We're doing some planning. We're getting that those blueprints approved, permits approved, and then we can sell that. Here's an example of one of my students. This is just a rendering. They didn't actually go ahead and finish the build here. They had some land and they changed the zoning. They just got the ability to build, this is an actual 8-plex on the original lot. So they went through that process, took them about 10 months, and basically they made an $85,000 sale after they got the land improved, and then they sold it down the road to a builder. They didn't have to physically do any work on site. So it's just kind of paperworky at this stage. So you don't have to actually do any work on site if you don't want. You can just add value that way instead of just flipping and passing it along. 3 more ways. We can create flag lots or adjust lot lines. Adjusting lot lines is where we move the border or the perimeter in such a way that we add value. I'm going to show you an example of that in a couple of seconds. Approved ADUs, additional dwelling units, carriage houses, apartment over garages, those kind of things. Or we can work with the city's zoning department and watch their city growth plans, redevelopment plans, overlays, these kind of things to see where the city wants to grow and what they want to see where, and we can capitalize on that. Here's an example of lot line adjustment. So you'll see right now there's 3 properties. One is really skinny. It's only like 15 feet wide, so you can't do anything with it. It's not buildable. There's a road that bisects those properties. Unit 2 is a nice buildable lot, but lot 3 is landlocked. You can't do anything with it, so it has no value really. But notice that the lot lines are currently running vertically across the screen. What the student did is they changed the lot lines to run horizontally. So now you've got 3 usable, buildable lots that all have road access. $44,000 out of profit, earned them a profit of $178,000 in just 5 months. Let's go back and see that, the original one. Okay, you can see the lot lines going one way, and now we've just changed the lot line. So that's a great example, perfect example of lot line adjustment. $44,000 makes $180,000 in 5 months. That's pretty cool. Couple more, securing permits to get things shovel ready. So we actually go to the stage where you sell it to the builder and they can actually start working the next day. They've done all the work. You've done all the work for them. Light and infrastructure, if you want, we're actually putting utility pipes in the ground and getting the lot serviced if it wasn't serviced before. So real quick, basically land development has 3 parts. You've got the permitting and upzoning and paperwork part, getting the applications, getting the permits approved, what they call horizontal, building the subdivisions, putting utilities in the ground, building roads, and then you can actually go all the way through and build the house if you want to build the 8-plex or whatever. But you don't have to do the whole thing. That's the beauty of this. You can just kind of go in chunks and whatever part you want. So for example, let's say you had a vacant lot in the middle of the city, 50 foot wide by 100. Maybe it's got an old house, maybe it's not. You can split the lot in 2. Make sure both sides are serviced, and then you could sell those as service lot. Again, you don't have to go all the way through. The beauty of it is you're in and out in less than a year. I personally don't invest in anything anymore if I'm not in and out in less than a year. So these actually add a lot of options to you, tools to your toolbox, give you a lot more ability than just flipping quickly for the quick profit. Learn to add value to land. Here's an example of one of my students. They came across an older house in a really nice neighborhood. Instead of just flipping that or renovating that themselves, they knocked it down. They got the blueprints drawn up for a really nice house, got the building permits approved, and then sold that package, the land, and the blueprints to a nice young couple that wanted to actually build their own house and live in that really great community. They made a profit of $98,000 in just 2.5 months. True story. So this is what you can do. Again, just work with the paper. but add value. That's the key. And then the final two, if you want to go all the way through and build, perfect. Build to sell, build to rent. Got a couple of students that are actually custom building Airbnbs. So you can do that if you want multiple exits. And then we can assemble multiple lots. So lot assembly. So 2 or 3 smaller contiguous pieces together, group them together to make a larger lot, and then sell that. So look at all the possibilities when you're looking at, across a land or something to flip instead of just flipping. So think like a developer. Quick exits, like I said, everything we showed was 2.5 months, 5 months, 10 months. We're less than a year. You don't need millions. You're no long-term holds. You're not dealing with tenants and toilets and all that kind of stuff. Bigger profits with smarter plays. So flipping land leaves most of the profit on the table. The next guy's going to get it. Small shifts in strategy can work out to a lot more money for you, the actual flipper. Development isn't hard. It's just smarter. It kind of takes a little mindset tweak. You might be thinking, oh, development, that's okay. I'm going to 3 to 4 years. 400 acres on the outskirts of town, 1,000 tract homes. I could never do that. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about quick in and out and just making paperwork plays here. So if you want to learn how to do this, I've got a $27 quick start course. It's 1 hour spread over 5 days. At the end, you're going to actually identify your first development property. So it's real action. It's not theory or airy-fairy. It's actual. You're going to end up with identifying a lot that you can actually start to develop. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll see you again next week.